Good morning, people. Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with a massive show for you guys this morning. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. So on the show this morning, we're going to be talking a little bit about this Antony story. There's been more news come out on that, which I don't even know what to make of it. But we will, of course, talk about it in a minute. The story just gets weirder and weirder. We will, of course, also be talking about Paulinho. Oh gosh, I nearly sneezed then. I think I'm all right. Thought I was going to have a bit of a sneezing fit. I do apologise. It's really hot here and I think there's really bad hay fever going on at the moment in the UK. Yeah, so a little bit about Paulinho. There's a story coming out this morning linking Manchester United from a very good source in the UK. So we will talk about that. Is it just spin? Is there any truth in that? Obviously, we will discuss all of those things. We'll also be talking a little bit about Sofyan Amrabat, a little bit about Eric Bailly, who has just left the club in the last couple of hours. So yeah, lots to get into. As always, do get involved in the comments section. Do let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on the show today, as I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Right, let's start off with this story about João Paulinho from Fulham. Now, this is coming out from The Athletic in the UK. It came out late last night and they're reporting that Manchester United have a strong interest in João Paulinho and could move for the Fulham midfielder in January. Now, I know people are saying, why are we talking about January signings, etc., etc. But I think there is a strong interest in this player. And you know why? Because we know that Fulham put in an offer for Scott McTominay at the end of the window. We know that João Paulinho has been on Manchester United's radar for some years. If if we swapped him for Scott McTominay, that would be one of the best bits of business we've ever done, I would say. Obviously, Bayern Munich did agree a fee with Fulham, didn't they? I think it was on transfer deadline day or the day before transfer deadline day. So there is a deal there to be done. Obviously, João Paulinho does want to leave Fulham. I think he wants to move to somewhere slightly bigger, let's say. And apparently Fulham would accept a fee of around 60 million. Now, Scott McTominay, I think, Fulham, I think, offered around 30, 35, but Scott McTominay didn't want to go. If you could, get 40 million for Scott McTominay, 30 to 40 million, and then you go and, bump up a little bit towards Paulinho, maybe an extra 20 million in there for Paulinho. You let McTominay go to Fulham, and you pay 60 million to Fulham for Paulinho. I think that would be a great bit of business. Obviously, Paulinho is a much better player than Scott McTominay, let's say. I think he's a very underrated player. I think he's someone who would 100% get into our midfield. I'm not sure who he would replace, though. That's my only question. I don't really get, would he replace Amrabat? I don't really get that side of it. Is there a world where you play Amrabat, Paulinho, and Casemiro? I mean, some people would like that type of thing, innit? Very, very defensive. I don't know. I'm not sure about that personally. But let me know what your thoughts are on João Paulinho. Do you think he'd be a good signing at Manchester United? I think he would be. There were lots of different journalists this morning as well reporting this same story. Lots of the newspapers in the UK are saying that Manchester United are set to make a move for Paulinho in January. But also it's worth noting that Bayern Munich are also going to be in the race for him in January. So there would be a bit of a competition for him. Whether or not we'd get him, I don't know. If I'm being honest, I would probably imagine at this current moment in time that a move to Bayern Munich is probably a bit more attractive than a move to Manchester United, purely just based on the fact that I think he would get into their team 100%. Obviously, they've just lost Ryan Gravenberch and they didn't get a replacement. He was supposed to be their replacement. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But let me know your thoughts on Paulinho. Somebody says, have we got the money? Well, it all depends, doesn't it, really? Like, obviously, if we sell players in January, which I think we will have to, I think, in January, we should be looking at getting rid of Sancho, Maguire if we can, McTominay if we can. I mean, that could be easily £100 million worth of sales right there. Whether or not we'll do it, that's up for debate, isn't it? Whether or not Manchester United are capable of selling three players in one window, probably not in one January transfer window, but we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, if new owners come in, that changes everything completely because, as I've said to you guys on this show before, because of our financial fair play things, if Sheikh Jassim comes in and clears the debt, it will allow us to spend about 40 to 50 million pounds just based on the fact that we're not paying off the debt repayments. That was what was said over the summer, that if, Sheikh Jassim Qatar took over in the summer transfer window, our budget would have increased by about 40 to 50 million pounds. What we'd have been allowed to spend. Because we have the money to spend, we just can't spend it because of our financial fair play restraints. That's the issue here. It's because of the debt repayments, because of, the dividends, all the rest of it. That's why we can't spend our money, because of the wages. There's so many different factors that fall into financial fair play and what make it hard for clubs like Manchester United to spend the money. And that's why there's so much frustration around the fan base, because we're one of the most profitable and highest earning clubs in world football, you know, behind Real Madrid and a couple of others. We're up there in the top 5 out of every club in world football in the, you know, in the list of the most expensive clubs revenue wise, but we're not able to spend the big money. Oh, sorry everyone. I knew that sneeze was coming. You know, where you just feel it brewing and then next thing you know, it just, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think about Paulinho. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one. Let me know how much you think would be a fair price. It's going to be somewhere around 60 million, I think, though. They're not going to accept any less than what Bayern Munich offered them in the summer. But let me know if you think he'd be a good fit, and we will now move on to the next story. So the next thing I want to talk about is about Marcus Rashford. So obviously, the Ballon d'Or is coming up in, I think it's in the next couple of weeks, and Marcus Rashford has not been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. So he's not even on the list. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? He's just come off the back of his best season ever, and he hasn't even been nominated. Do you think that's unfair? Do you think that he should be on the list? Let me know what your thoughts are, because for me, if Marcus Rashford, after the season he's just had, didn't even get nominated, then how is he ever going to get, you know, anywhere close to it? Right, the list is not like there's 5 players either. So there's people like Harry Kane are on there, Griezmann, Gundogan. You know, there's loads of people on there. Saka's on there. Jude Bellingham, obviously, that's deserved. Musiala from Bayern Munich. Like, there's a lot of people on there that are maybe slightly debatable. Onana's on the list, which is obviously great for him. I think that is all the Manchester United players. I think Rasmus Højlund's on one of them. It's for... No, so yeah. So Andre Onana is the only Manchester United player who's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or in this current one. There's people like Kim Min-jae, Rodri... Ruben Dias, Barella, etc., etc. But there's no Marcus Rashford. Do you think Marcus Rashford should be on the list? Somebody says Maguire wasn't mentioned. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, mate, Maguire was not nominated for the Ballon d'Or, which I know some of you in the chat will be really, really upset about. Very well deserved. You know, some of his appearances last season coming on. Do you remember the game where he came on? I think it was in the Europa League. We desperately needed to score a goal, and he scored a goal on our own goal. Brilliant. That's Ballon d'Or potential right there. But yeah, so no Marcus Rashford on the Ballon d'Or list. I think it's a bit of a joke, personally, after him scoring, you know, his best ever season, scoring 30 goals, I think it was, in all competitions, was absolutely on fire for a large part of the season, and not to be even on the list. You know, it's like a 40, 50-man list. It's not like there's 5 of them. But anyway, that's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you think. Do you think Marcus Rashford should be on the list? Somebody says, I agree, he shouldn't be on there. Somebody says it's obviously rigged. Other people say he's not consistent. Somebody says Saka should not be ahead of Rashford for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, mate, I think it's a bit strange, personally. I get that Rashford isn't that consistent, but there was a period last season for about a month or so where people were saying, "Oh, he's incredible. He's in the form of his life. He's as good as Mbappe." And obviously that kind of faded quite quickly, didn't it? After about a month or two, he went back to his usual. He'll have a good game and then go missing for 3 games. Have a good game, go missing for a few games. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Are you upset that Harry Maguire didn't get on the list as well? Maybe you are. Obviously, I'm joking, but maybe you are. Maybe you think Harry Maguire deserves a place on the Ballon d'Or list. You know, that's up to you. Somebody says Rashford should be on there. Sheehan says, I don't take any notice of individual honours. It's rigged to a certain extent. They have their favourite players. McTominay should be on there for hiding for 3 years. Well, you saw, what's he called? Louis van Gaal coming out. Did anybody see that? Louis van Gaal came out talking about Lionel Messi and ultimately said that the World Cup was rigged in an interview. And now all of the Dutch national team are having to come out and say, we don't agree with Louis van Gaal. But he's ultimately saying that, you know, FIFA, UEFA, whatever you want to call it, have rigged the World Cup to make Messi win. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? Gary says, how much do you think Marcus Rashford is worth? That's a good question. I'm going to ask that back to the chat. So I want you to let me know in the comment section, how much do you think Marcus Rashford is worth in the current market? Well, I mean, we just paid 100 million euros last season for Antony. He's definitely better than Antony, and he scored way more goals than Antony. So if we're looking at what Manchester United would... let's say what he's worth to Manchester United, because other teams maybe wouldn't pay the type of money Manchester United would, but... If we paid 100 million euros for Antony, I would say he's worth at least 20 to 50 million more than that. You know, in Manchester United's eyes, I'm not saying like a Man City would pay 150 million euros for him. They wouldn't. Yeah, I'd say anywhere from 100 to 150 million euros, based on the fact that we spent, you know, 100 million on what's he called? Antony, which I know a lot of you in the chat don't even like. So yeah, that's my take on it, but let me know what your thoughts are. Right, let's move on to the next topic though. Let's talk a little bit about Eric Bailly. We can now confirm that Eric Bailly has joined Besiktas. This is a permanent deal, but we didn't get any money for him, which is a little bit strange. I never will really understand what happened with Eric Bailly. I would love to know, but from what I heard, from what I read in certain places, was that apparently he just kind of fell out with the manager and he just didn't really have a place in the squad. Because I know a lot of you here in this chat today would say, I would definitely rather have Eric Bailly playing games than Johnny Evans. And I agree. I would rather have Eric Bailly playing games than Harry Maguire. So for us to let Eric Bailly go for nothing, but yet we've still got Harry Maguire here and we've just given Johnny Evans a contract, I don't really get that. But I do think that it all just boils down to mentality. I just think that Eric Bailly clearly wasn't doing what was expected of him at Manchester United. But anyway, so Eric Bailly has just said the following. He says, as I leave this club after many years of incredible memories, outstanding teammates and trophies, I want to express my profound gratitude. This chapter may be closing, but the friendships and memories will forever remain in my heart. The fans here are the real champions. Thank you for everything. Forever United. You know what? Obviously, I think it is a little bit sad that Eric Bailly's gone because he was an absolute warrior on the pitch, but yeah, he hasn't played football for us in like 2 years, has he? He was off on loan, he got injured and all the rest of it. Obviously, I wish him all the best. I hope he goes and has a great career at Besiktas. I think he's only signed on a 1-year contract, though, which is quite interesting that nobody really is willing to offer him a long contract, probably because of his injury record. But yeah, I want you to let me know what your favourite memories are of Eric Bailly in a Manchester United shirt. Let me know in the comment section below. Deepak says, did Bailly get any money from us before the transfer? I don't think so, mate. I think it was mutually agreed to terminate his contract. So obviously, Besiktas would have probably given him a big signing on fee, plus obviously wages. So it kind of works out well for players when you mutually agree to terminate the contract, because they then can ask the other club that they're going to for some sort of signing on fee. They can say, well, you're not paying a transfer fee for me, so give me some money to sign on. But yeah, that's my standing on it. I don't think that, you know, Manchester United had to pay him off. Gary says, wasn't he leaking information from the dressing room? I'm not sure, mate. I don't want to spread false information. I mean, people have said it was Dean Henderson. People have said it's Eric Bailly. There's no definitive answer on who was leaking the information. It could well have been him. People said it was Lingard. People said it was Pogba. Like, there was all of these people that were thrown under the bus for supposedly leaking information. But I don't know the answer to that, so I'm not gonna confirm something that I don't know. So maybe it was Eric Bailly, maybe it was Dean Henderson. We'll have to wait and see if that ever comes out in the future years. But you know, I think a lot of the time with these leaks, it's like the players are friends with agents, and then they tell an agent something, and then the agent tells someone else. I don't think it's always like directly the player calls up the Sun and says, I don't like Ten Hag, or I don't like Mourinho, or maybe it is like that. But yeah. I just want to talk about this really quickly, actually, about Wan-Bissaka, who is apparently on the brink of extending his contract at Manchester United. I want to get your thoughts on that, everybody. Please let me know in the comment section whether you think Wan-Bissaka being given a new contract is the right decision. He's going into the final year of his deal now, but there is an option for 1 extra year. I would say yes. I would definitely say that giving him a new contract is the right decision. The story is coming out from the Telegraph this morning, and it says discussions have taken place in the last month over a new deal to keep Wan-Bissaka beyond the current long-term contract as a reward for his progression. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Would you keep Wan-Bissaka at Manchester United, or do you think he's somebody that we should move on? Let me know what your thoughts are. For me, I definitely think we should keep him. I think he's a quality player. Whether or not we need to bring in someone else to kind of battle with him, somebody maybe like a Frimpong who has a different profile set. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is, in my opinion, maybe even the best one-on-one defender in world football. You know, if somebody's running at Wan-Bissaka, you know, Vinicius Jr., whoever it might be, Saka, Martinelli, whoever, right? They very rarely get past him. So I think one-on-one, he's one of the best defenders in world football. But going forward, he isn't great. So maybe we do need to bring in someone like a Frimpong, so we have two options, you know? In a game where we have to be really defensive against the Manchester City or, Real Madrid away from home, you put Aaron Wan-Bissaka in. But if you're at home against, a Bournemouth, and I don't know, a Luton or whoever, then you could have Jeremy Frimpong in. Maybe that could work quite well. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one, and let me know whether you think that a new contract for Wan-Bissaka is deserved. Everybody who's watching the show this morning, please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It really helps the channel, so if you haven't subscribed, please go and do that now, and if you haven't liked the video, please also do that. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show though. So just a little quick one. Kobe Mainu put up a story earlier on today, and it has like a little hours, like a little clock. I think it's a little teaser. I think he's going to be back very, very soon. We were told that he was going to be back mid-September. This is Kobe Mainu we're talking about. I think he's going to be a massive, massive addition to this squad. He looked unbelievable in pre-season. We saw him against Arsenal, obviously, and he completely held his own against Declan Rice. And you know what? He completely outshone Declan Rice, in my opinion. And I cannot wait to have Kobe Mainu back. Where he fits into this team, I'm not entirely sure at this moment in time. Obviously, we've just signed Amrabat, so I don't know. Does Amrabat play instead of Casemiro sometimes and Kobe Mainu plays alongside him? I'm not really too sure, but let me know, where do you think Kobe Mainu fits into this team? I definitely want to see him getting some game time this year. I don't want him to just be kind of sat on the bench and not wasting, but, you know, sitting on the bench is completely pointless to me. So yeah, hopefully he gets his game time he deserves, and hopefully we get a breakout season from Kobe Mainu in this first season. Let's see what everybody's saying in the comments section. Kev the Red says, Man United is old mates club. Jones seen at Carrington. Evans resigned. Fletcher, all great players but coaches. Yeah, mate, I agree with you 100%. And I think that new owners coming in, that is the one thing that I really, really want them to do. I really want them to get rid of this kind of jobs for the mates type approach where, oh, he used to play here 10 years ago. Oh, let's give him a job. Like, I don't think that's the right atmosphere to do things. You know, Manchester City, they bring in the best in class in every single area. They don't bring in somebody who played 20 years ago because they want to help them out. Like, you know, I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense to me, but yeah, I completely agree. JP says, I still don't think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is United quality. For the bench, yes, but he is not good enough. We need an all-rounder and not just a slide tackle merchant. Slide tackle just leads to dead balls 80% of the time. I don't know. What I would say, though, as I just said, is that I think that Wan-Bissaka has a very specific set of skills. And I think that bringing in somebody who maybe is more attacking would be a better option. So you have an attacking right back and a defensive right back, because then we know that Erik ten Hag likes to change things up. So yeah, I think that would make the most sense, and I would definitely give him a new contract personally. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Al says, what coaching experience does Phil Jones have? Mate, I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really followed Phil Jones's career. All I've known is that he's not played football for 2 years and was being paid by Manchester United, and then has finally just left. And now, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what's going on with Phil Jones. I don't know if he's definitely coming back yet. There was obviously photos of him at the training ground, but then that was quickly denied as he was just there. And, you know, who knows with Manchester United. Right, let's move on to this Antony story, which has taken an even weirder turn of events. Like, literally supporting Manchester United is like a soap, isn't it? If anybody doesn't know what a soap is, it's like Hollyoaks, Emmerdale, you know, EastEnders, like that type of thing, you know, like a drama. Every single day there's a new development. Somebody does something. Well, so obviously we've got this Antony situation, which is a complete mess as it is. Now, there's been some very serious allegations that have been made overnight from Chris Wheeler, who is obviously a UK-based journalist. And he's ultimately saying that his information is that the Manchester United medical staff treated Antony's partner and have somehow covered it up. I mean, it's crazy to be putting this stuff out there without 100%. So Manchester United have come back and said, Manchester United have confirmed that a member of staff arranged for a private doctor visit for Cavalin, which was Antony's partner, at Antony's request. But they've denied that she was treated by any of the club's medical staff. So their approach or their response to this is that, yes, we did treat Antony's partner, but it was with a private doctor, not somebody from their team. I mean, what an absolute mess. And then it goes on to say, Manchester United have been advised to proceed cautiously in relation to Antony's case on the basis that the police investigations are ongoing in both the UK and Brazil. So that has been confirmed that it's both in the UK and Brazil. Yeah, I honestly don't know what to make of this one. It's a complete mess. It really, really is, because all of the headlines in the tabloid newspapers today, which I don't really pay much attention to, but obviously I see their stories on Twitter, is that Manchester United have covered it all up and all the rest of it. I mean, like, how do we just get around this stuff? It's just constant, isn't it? Every time you wake up, there's something new about Manchester United. There's a new drama. There's a new conspiracy. There's a new reason that, you know, and I honestly don't know what to think of this. I really don't. It's like, let's have a look. I'm just seeing if I can find this bit that they've. I mean, for these journalists to put out this type of story, they must have got it from somewhere. Like, they can't have just... Obviously, Manchester United put out a statement saying Manchester United acknowledged the allegations made against Antony and notes that the police are conducting inquiries. Pending further investigation, the club will make no further comments. So that was what the club said. And then it says, this is what the Chris Wheeler reported. He says, Manchester United have been accused of covering up Antony's assault allegations by his ex-girlfriend's lawyers as she leaks WhatsApp messages and claims she was treated by United's doctors. So, I mean... it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It really, really is. And I just hate that these are the type of things that are going on at Manchester United. It just paints such a bad message of the club, and it just makes you think that, you know, who are these people running the club? Like, really bad, isn't it? But yeah, let's see what everyone's saying in the chat. Malp says, I hope we get relegated, to be honest. Only answer to get rid of the Glazers. Yeah, I hear you, mate. I do. What else have we got? Carl says, why we talk Frimpong when we have Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot? We need to sign a right back. I'm not sure what you mean there. Incognito says, Glazers out. We need a rebuild and a fresh start. 100%. Red Army Malaya says, where the hell he get the story from? Mate, I don't know. It's all over the newspapers in the UK this morning, like the Daily Mail, the Sun, all of those kind of tabloid newspapers are all running with this story. That, you know, that Manchester United have covered up this thing. I mean, it's absolutely mad, but like, don't be surprised. Like, these stories literally print anything. They do. They have no conscience whatsoever. They put these stories out and don't really care about the repercussions because they can just say, oh, I got the information from a source. You know, they never say what the source is. But the fact that Manchester United have come out apparently to Chris Wheeler and said they've described these suggestions of a cover-up as categorically false. So they're seriously denying it. Yeah, it's just a mess, isn't it? Right, let's move on to this Amrabat thing, though. This is quite positive. So, obviously, there was a lot of you really, really worried in the comment section over the last couple of days about Sofyan Amrabat. Manchester United apparently detected some sort of back injury when they were doing the medical, which, again, everybody was sat here saying, what the hell? This happened with Rasmus Højlund. How has this happened again? You know, what the hell are they doing? It's a complete mess and all the rest of it. Everyone was obviously quite upset, me included. Now, I can see pictures on my screen right now of Sofyan Amrabat training with the Moroccan national team. And I don't mean on his own or, you know, in a gym. I mean on the pitch, on the grass, running around with the rest of the team. So it looks like Sofyan Amrabat is all right. Obviously, we've just got hope that none of our players get injured over the international break. There is, however, a game tonight. So if anybody is crying out for some football, which some of you may be, some of you may not, Denmark play San Marino tonight at 7:45 UK time. So that will be, obviously, we'll get to see Rasmus Højlund. So I might try and give that a watch later on. So if anybody has got nothing to do this evening, you can go and watch our new striker play. Obviously, there's France are playing tonight as well. Quite a few games on, international games. So hopefully Rasmus Højlund has a good game. Obviously, it's the European Championships qualifiers. So I will be watching that. And I hope that he gets some minutes because, obviously, San Marino, I think, are the worst international team. I mean, I don't think they've ever won a game, have they? So it's definitely a good game for Rasmus Højlund to get some minutes under his belt, obviously after coming off the back of being injured. Right, I'm going to read out a couple of your questions before I wrap up the video. Let's have a look at what questions we have today. Mustafa says, what are your thoughts on Sancho moving to the Saudi League? You know what? The Saudi League closes today, so I think this Jadon Sancho story, I'm not saying there's no truth in it. Obviously, it was reported by a legit journalist, but I think there wasn't enough time for it. I think if this was earlier on in the window, then yes, great, go and get it done. But the window closes today in Saudi Arabia, so I don't see how they would get this deal done that quickly. There are still people reporting this story. It says, Jadon Sancho given Manchester United exit route as Saudi clubs submit offers as deadline nears. It says, Jadon Sancho has reportedly been offered a way out of Manchester United from Saudi Arabia. Apparently, yeah, so they've submitted an official offer for the winger. Sancho's future at Old Trafford remains uncertain, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, the window closes today in Saudi. They'll have to be very, very quick to get this deal over the line. I don't think there's enough time personally. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Would you keep Jadon Sancho or would you sell him? Carl says, why do we talk about Frimpong when we have Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot? We need to invest in a right back. I'm not sure what you mean there, mate, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot are right backs. So you're saying that you don't like Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot and that we need to buy a right back? Let me know what your thoughts are. Jin says, what's your favourite moment of buy? This moment, him going, useless player and a typical reason why you've been crap for a decade. I mean, fair enough. I don't massively disagree. Comeback King says, we need to keep Sancho with the Antony saga. Yeah, I mean, obviously that is obviously quite a fair point, you know? If Antony's suspended, which I imagine he probably will be, I mean, this situation is just getting worse and worse by the day. Maybe this is Jadon Sancho's opportunity to cement himself in that team, to play every single game. Yeah, I'm just reading the story again. I mean, this person, Antony's accuser, yeah, is literally now accusing Manchester United of covering it up. That's what they're reporting this morning. It's absolutely crazy. All right, yeah, so Carl's saying, sorry, I meant a left-back. Yeah, we 100% need another left-back, definitely. Obviously, Luke Shaw, I think, is an amazing player. But, yeah, I think Luke Shaw is an amazing player, but I'm not entirely 100% on Malacia at this point. I think he's good. Luke Shaw's injuries do concern me a little bit. He gets injured quite a lot. Godfrey says, did you hear about UEFA's response to the Arsenal game? No, I didn't, mate. Let me know, and I will, of course, discuss it. What else have we got? Alex says the Saudi League window closes in 3 weeks. I think it's today, mate. I'm pretty sure the Saudi League window closes today. Let me just double check that for you. I'm 90% sure it closes today, but I'll double check that for you now. Yeah, so it closes on, it says the Saudi Arabian Football Federation have confirmed again this morning that the Saudi Pro League transfer window closes this Thursday, the 7th of September. So yeah, it closes today, everyone. The last opportunity. Antony says, we need to buy youngsters who have played for the under-16s, under-21 players for the future. We need a complete recruitment team wipeout as we only buy players when players' price go up. Mate, 100%. We need to completely revamp our recruitment policies. We need to look at more at the Brighton model where we bring players through and develop with them. But I did say this on the show yesterday, and I don't know if anybody gave their opinions, but is Manchester United the right place to be developing talent at the moment? I'm not sure, because you bring in people like Pellistri, his career has pretty much stagnated, if not gone backwards. You bring in people like Ahmad, his career, obviously he did well at Sunderland, but overall, Ahmad's career is probably stagnated as well. We brought in two very, very promising players, young players who were players for the future, and their careers have just completely stalled. So, I don't know, maybe Manchester United are stuck in this model of bringing in experienced people, shirt sellers, and that's all they want to do. Because we have tried to bring in younger people, as I just said, Pellistri and Ahmad, but we haven't developed them into anything better. So maybe that's just, what we have to deal with. Carl says the best for Sancho is to go on a 1-year contract to Saudi, then he can play and get a value and get back to Europe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think they'll probably end up making up now and they'll end up being friends, Ten Hag and Sancho. But I don't really see how they can, because for me, I've lost the trust in Sancho and I'm not the Manchester United manager. But as a fan, we've seen how he acts on the pitch. We've heard the stories of him turning up late for training, not putting in 100% in training, and I've lost trust in him now. And it's very difficult to rebuild trust in any form of life, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a work environment. Once the trust is gone, it's very, very difficult to regain that. And I've lost trust in him, and I'm sure quite a few people have as well. Obviously, trust can be rebuilt, but I just think that because this is a recurring situation, it's not the first time we've heard about this. I think it makes it difficult. Carl says Ahmad and Pellistri should be in the team. Yeah, mate, I agree with you. I do. I think Pellistri definitely deserves some game time. I really, really do. Whether or not he will, I'm not sure. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined me this morning. I will be back live at 6 p.m. UK time for your evening show. If anything breaks during the day, of course, I will go live. If we get any news about this Sancho to Saudi deal, obviously today is deadline day in Saudi, so it's either today or he stays until January pretty much. So we will go live if any of that stuff breaks. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you all later.